5 huge changes coming to Nashville, Tennessee in 2026. Don't miss out. Let me say something that might surprise you. A lot of people think that Nashville's big growth story already happened. They think the boom years were a few years ago and that things are just now kind of leveling out. The reality is this. Some of the biggest changes shaping Nashville are actually happening right now. We're talking about billions of dollars in development, a massive new stadium, major corporate investments, infrastructure upgrades, and a housing market that's starting to look very different than it did just a few years ago. And a couple of these changes could actually change which Nashville neighborhood makes the most sense to buy over the next few years. So if you're thinking about moving to Nashville, investing here, or buying a home in the next year or two, these changes are going to matter a lot because some of these projects will completely reshape where people live, where they work, and even how they commute around the city. And today, we're breaking down 5 huge changes coming to Nashville that you need to understand heading into 2026. Some of these could create opportunities, some of them might change how you think about certain neighborhoods, and a couple of them might surprise you. So let's jump right into it. Let's start with the big one that drives almost everything else. People are still moving to Nashville. Now the growth pace today looks different than the crazy boom years we saw earlier in the decade, but the city is still attracting relocations, employers, and long-term investment. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the Nashville, Davidson, Murfreesboro, Franklin metro area had an estimated population of about 2 million residents in 2024, making it one of the larger metro areas in the Southeast, which basically means Nashville isn't just a fast-growing city anymore. It's now a major metro area that's still attracting people and investment. And relocation interest is still strong. Zillow research notes that among the 50 largest U.S. metros, Nashville was one of the notable 2025 net gainers among United van line movers, posting an inbound to outbound ratio of 1.39. And a lot of that comes down to jobs. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that the Nashville metro unemployment rate was 2.9% in December 2025, compared with 4.1% nationally. That signals something pretty important. Employers are still hiring. Nashville has built a broad-based economy with strong industries in healthcare, logistics, technology, entertainment, and professional services. And when you combine job opportunities with Tennessee's lack of a tax on wage income, Nashville still stands out as a relatively attractive place to relocate for both workers and companies. So what does that mean for 2026? It means continued demand for housing, development, and infrastructure improvements across the metro area, which leads us to the next major shift. Nashville's housing market is entering a more balanced phase. Now, if you were trying to buy a home in Nashville in 2021 or 22, you probably remember what that felt like. Multiple offers, homes selling in days, and buyers having almost zero leverage. But the market today looks very different. According to Redfin, the median home sale price in Nashville was about $450,000 in January 2026. At the same time, inventory has started to improve. Greater Nashville Realtors reported 11,795 homes for sale in January 2026, about 9% more inventory than the year before. And that might not sound like a huge shift, but compared to the frenzy market a few years ago, it actually gives buyers much more negotiating power, lots more options, and more time to make a decision. Mortgage rates are also stabilizing. According to Freddie Mac, the average 30-year mortgage rate was about 6% in early 2026. Now that is still higher than pandemic-era rates, but the big difference now is stability. Buyers are no longer dealing with massive swings in interest rates week to week, and that gives people more confidence when planning a move. So what does this mean for people relocating to the Nashville area? The market is starting to look more balanced. Not a crash, not runaway price growth, but a healthier environment where buyers can take their time, compare neighborhoods, and make smarter long-term decisions. So far, we've talked about 2 major forces shaping Nashville right now: relocation demand and a housing market that is finally becoming a little more balanced. But those 2 things are also driving something much bigger: massive development across the city. We're talking about billion-dollar projects, new mixed-use districts, and major infrastructure investments that could reshape parts of Nashville over the next several years. And if you're relocating here, these projects can absolutely influence which neighborhoods become the most desirable places to live next. By the way, if you're thinking about moving to Nashville, we've created a free Nashville relocation guide that covers everything from local employers to schools, hospitals, and local insights. You can download that in the description below. And if this is your first time on the channel, my name is Josh Anderson. We make videos every single week about what it's like to live, work, and invest in Nashville. And if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's talk about one of the biggest transformations happening in Nashville right now: The new Titan Stadium and the East Bank transformation, one of the biggest developments in the entire city, is happening right across the Cumberland River from downtown. The new Tennessee Titans Stadium project, the stadium itself is expected to cost about $2.1 billion, and it's currently scheduled to open in 2027. The stadium is really just one piece of a much bigger story. The surrounding area known as the East Bank is being planned as a large-scale redevelopment district. According to Metro Nashville's Imagine East Bank plan, the redevelopment vision covers about 338 acres of land along the riverfront. And to put that in perspective, that's essentially an entirely new urban neighborhood being built right next to downtown. The long-term vision includes things like new residential buildings, retail and restaurants, public parks and riverfront green space, entertainment venues, office and commercial space, new pedestrian connections to downtown. Think of it as Nashville's next major walkable district. And projects like this often reshape surrounding areas. Neighborhoods like East Nashville, Germantown, Cleveland Park, they're already seeing continued development interest because of their proximity to downtown and the East Bank. Another big change shaping Nashville's future is continued employer growth. Nashville's built one of the more diverse economies in the Southeast, and one of the biggest long-term projects tied to that is Oracle's planned Nashville campus development. According to current data, Oracle is associated with about $1.35 billion in capital investment and up to 8,500 jobs. That's really important to understand. That number represents a long-term build-out, not something that happens overnight. But large corporate expansions like this still signal something really important. Major companies see Nashville as a place worth investing in for the long term. And when a city continues adding jobs across multiple industries, that tends to support long-term housing demand. You already know traffic can be a challenge, but there are several projects happening that aim to improve mobility across the region. One example is the I-24 Smart Corridor project, which uses traffic technology and operational tools to improve traffic flow and manage incidents along one of the region's busiest commuter routes. Looking ahead, the state's also studying I-24 Southeast Choice Lanes project, which could add managed lanes to improve travel reliability. And beyond highways, Nashville continues expanding its greenway system. Metro Nashville Parks reports the city now has more than 99 miles of paved greenway trails, with additional expansion underway. So let's recap the 5 huge changes shaping Nashville heading into 2026. Continued relocation interest and population growth, a housing market becoming more balanced, the massive Titan Stadium and East Bank redevelopment, corporate investment and long-term job growth, and infrastructure improvements supporting the city's expansion. At the end of the day, Nashville is still evolving. New neighborhoods are emerging, major projects are underway, and the city continues attracting people from across the country. So if you're thinking about moving to Nashville or buying property here, understanding these trends can help you make a smarter decision about where to live and when to buy. If you're planning a move in the next 6 to 12 months, download our Nashville relocation guide below. If you want help narrowing down the right neighborhoods based on your budget, commute, and lifestyle, feel free to reach out to me. My team and I help people relocate to Nashville every single day, and we'd be happy to help you navigate the process. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.